Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Kate's Space. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs, and today I wanted to just answer a question that someone asked me, a very long time ago, and I guess I haven't really felt like I've had the confidence or the knowledge to do this video. So what I'm doing is just going to share what I do. I'm doing a project which is a swap, and I've just bought some digital kits, so I thought it would be a perfect time to show you how I download them onto my computer, where I put them on my computer, and then how I print them out, and some examples of different settings and papers. It's very basic. It's something that I've just learned as I go. No one has taught me this. I've just kind of had to experiment and make a lot of mistakes and waste a lot of paper and ink, and I'm still learning. So it is a question that someone asked me, and so I'd really like to just share what I'm doing. I've got digitals here from Evelyn and Sage Avenue. So these are Danielle's lovely kits, and I'm just going to do it with a voiceover because I moved from the computer to the printer, and it's all quite, up and down. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I will do a voiceover and just sort of explain what I'm doing as I do it. This certainly isn't a video for anyone who knows how to use Photoshop and is like really au fait with computers and printing and art and digital art and stuff. This is not a video for you by any stretch of the imagination. This is just answering a question. It's for beginners. It's for people like me who really struggle with the whole technical side of junk journaling and printing and all the stuff that can happen. And anyway, if it doesn't answer your questions or you have more questions, just feel free to ask below or email me, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you might have if I can, or try and find out for you. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me, and yeah, we will talk again soon. Right, here I am. This is my desktop on my MacBook Pro laptop, and I've just bought some digitals as I said, and I'm going into my emails where it tells me that I have purchased these digitals and they're ready to be downloaded. So if you don't have Mac, then obviously things are going to be in different places and it'll be different for you, but I don't know, you may get some benefit from this video or you may not. So here they are in my emails, and I'm just looking for where it says find them on Etsy, view files on Etsy. There we go, and I'm just going to go to those. So now we're on Etsy and I'm going to download them. So I click on download and you can see them going up into my downloads. So I'm going to do them all. Click on download and you can see them downloading there, or uploading or whatever, downloading into my downloads. So then I close that down and I go down to Finder and I go to downloads, and you can see them there as zipped files. Now I've decided now I don't unzip them there, because then I end up just dragging copies and I have them in two places. So what I do is I make a file or a folder on my desktop. So I'm clicking on File and then New Folder. And so a new folder pops up there on my desktop, and I rename it, so Evelyn and Sage Avenue. And so that's my new folder, and I'm just going to move it over. Yeah, my desktop doesn't look that tidy, but it's kind of like my craft desk, really. Anyway, so there it is. There's my new folder. And then I'm going to go back into my downloads, and I'm going to drag the whole zip file into that folder. So there's one, there's another one, and there's another one, and there. Okay, then I'm going to go into that folder, and basically what I'm going to do now is make some folders inside there, so I can put each of the two kits in separate folders, named folders or files. I think they're called folders. Anyway, so I've
I'm naming the folders the names of the kits, and I'll drag the zipped files into those folders. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. And then I make another folder. So I try and make it as easy as I can. Again, like I said earlier, there may be an easier way. And you know, if you guys know any tips around any of this, and you can and that you'd like to share, please leave comments below. We're all about sort of supporting each other, and for me, this is probably one of the hardest parts of this craft is this kind of computer based side of things, because it's not something I'm particularly, I'm super familiar with, and it's really difficult to find places to learn exactly where. Now, I double clicked on the zip files and they basically open up. See, there you go, they've opened up. So in those folders are the actual digital images. So that's basically where I store mine. I think some people maybe store theirs in photos. I'm not sure. I don't. If I want to print something out like a photo, I can always drag the file into my photos and do that. But at this stage, this is what I do. This is how I know how to do it. So I'm double clicking on one of the images and it's opening up in a thing that Mac calls preview. So this is the Mac based, I guess, printing type thing or preview of it. And then I'm going down to click on print, and that opens up my print management box. And so you can see there, it's got default settings, how many you want to print. If you look at default settings, that probably just goes color normal. It just will print out just a basic print for you. How many copies you want, the size of your paper. If you click down on that, there's all sorts of different sizes of paper in there. A4, A4 borderless, and etc. etc. I'm clicking there. I clicked on it, and you can see all the different sizes. I have some paper that's American letter size, which is 8.5 by 11, which is a different size to our basic paper. So there I've clicked, and you can see I'm looking at A4, A4 borderless. There's two other things there. I don't know what they are. So it looks like I've clicked A4 borderless, but then I change my mind and go back to A4. All right, then I'm scrolling down, and there's all these options, and in your printing thing, it may be different. So you can change this by fill entire page, which doesn't change the size too much, but you might sometimes with some digitals you might start losing some of the actual print. So then you have print entire image. You can have copies per page, so if you want to make it smaller, you can have 2 copies. There you can see 4 copies per page, and if you wanted to make little journal cards, you can do 5 or 6 copies per page. This is different to resizing it. If you wanted to resize it to just make 1 copy, then that's a whole different scenario. And you'll end up with like maybe 9 copies of the same thing. So yeah, but it is a simple way to make a smaller image. So then I go into printer options, and here is where we see the color sort of settings and the print settings. So from the page settings, it's just where I want it to print from. So that depends on where your paper is. So cassette 2 is my main cassette. I'm going to print it on plain paper. The color, I'm going to go color, and I'm turning the color management off. So hopefully the printer won't try to manage the color and compete with the computer. And it says normal there. So I've had to play around a little bit with my color management, because the Epson printer tends to print things with a pink hue, a magenta hue. This is something that's really bothered me over the years, and I still haven't really got a really good handle on it. Anyway, we're going to print it best quality. So we're all ready to go. But before I press print, I'm just going to go and double check that my printers all ready to go with papers in the right place. So I'll just go over there now. So here's my printer. It's an Epson EcoTank 8550. It has the extra tank, so it has the black, photo black, cyan, yellow, magenta and grey. It prints A3. Excuse my filming here because I'm holding the camera and of course I can't really see. So it prints A3. It has a feeder there at the back, the rear feeder, and it has a cassette at the front. It has a photo paper cassette at the front for little 4x6 and stuff. And it also has a hand feeder at the back. I don't really know much about that. And yeah, photocopies, it scans. It's not perfect. Anyway, here we have the screen, and as you can see, when you put the paper into one of the cassettes, like I've just popped it into that rear feeder, it comes up with your last setting. And here, obviously, I had A4 paper and photo quality inkjet in there. And if I was putting plain paper in there, I would click on paper type and change that to plain paper and the size, etc. So you want that to match up with what you've put on your computer, I guess. So yeah, if I put matte paper in there, I'd click matte, and plain paper, I'd click plain. A4 plain paper in the rear paper feeder. So that's sort of how it works. We're going with the cassette 2, and I know that's got plain paper in it, so I'm just going to take that out just so we don't get confused. Yeah, so here's the cassette, the main cassette, cassette 2, and that's got plain paper in it, so I'm just going to push that in, and you'll see on my little screen there, it comes up cassette 2, size A4, and paper type plain paper. Right, so that's basically how that works. So we're all set up and basically we're ready to go. So back at my laptop, I just click on print, and that sends the message to my printer to print, and it starts to print. So while that's printing, I will show you set up a different way of printing. So I'll close that, and then I will right click on it and go down to the choice that says open with. So I'll go down to open with, and I'm going to open this with Adobe Photoshop editor. So you can see to the right there, there's lots of choices. There's Canva, there's color sync utility, all these things. I don't really know what any of those others are. Well, I know what Canva is, but I have got Photoshop elements. Here is the same image opened in my Photoshop elements, and I'm not going to do anything with it in here except for print it from here, and it will give a different look, which we'll look at them all afterwards and compare. So I'm just going to go File, I go down to Print, and it comes up like this. Now this is the same, looks like this because I was printing something before, so I'm going to change it to actual size. So you have to keep an eye on that because you can print it all different sizes. Here I'm showing you the different sizes. So this is a good place to resize something if you have this. Anyway, so I want to print it actual size. As you can see, I've got select paper size A4. Again, you can click crop to fit, but that doesn't really do anything, so I don't think I click on that. I just leave it actual size. So I am going to go down and click on print. Open this box which tells you that this size it's going to print at less than 300 dpi. I don't know why, because it's the size it's been downloaded at. It's what I purchased it at, so I don't know why it does that, and so I just ignore it. I just press continue. Someone might be able to tell me about that, but anyway. So then this box opens, and again, this is the printer driver. So I basically scroll down to printer options eventually, and so this is where you manage your color and where your paper's going to come from. So it's pretty much similar to preview, basically. I'm just waiting for me to scroll down here. There we go. So scrolling down to printer options, I ignore all the other stuff. I don't know if it's relevant. I just do the basics. Like I said, this is very basic. And so as you can see, color management's turned off. So basically Photoshop Elements is controlling the color. And you'll see that it will come out quite different to the other print that's going on at the moment. So I'm going to put it into best quality, cassette to plain paper, best quality. See here, you can go into advanced settings. Epson driver color management is off. So yeah, so the Epson is not controlling the color, and we'll be able to compare to see what kind of color we get when that prints out. So there we go, and then we will click print, I think, when the other one is finished. When I'm printing best quality, the printer is much slower, as you can imagine, because it's laying down way more ink. So here is the printout that we've just done. I don't know if, yes, you can see, I can see the difference. See how pink that has printed out compared to what you can see on your screen. Now, I know it's very difficult to get an exact replica to what you see on your computer screen, but to me that's really, really different and really pink, and it does bug me. So now we're going to wait for the Photoshop Elements one to print out, and we'll see what kind of result we get from that. So I am just writing on the back of that first printout. We printed it through preview, and I'm writing no color management. So then at the end of this video, we'll have a comparison of all the different printouts. Although the color's off, the print is still really, really nice. So I'm just coming out of Photoshop, and I'm clicking again on that image, double clicking, it's opening in preview, file, and print, and I'm going to try something different this time. So I'm going down to printer options, print settings, and I'm changing it. I'm going into advanced color settings. So this is where Epson is managing the color, and so you can see all the different brightness, and it's really designed for photos. But let's have an experiment and reduce the magenta down to, I think, -6 there. It's hard for me to see as I'm doing the voiceover. I can change the yellow, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that as is. And then basically you go back to basic, and you auto select if you want, but I'm going to put cassette to plain paper, and basically I'm leaving it as Epson Vivid, controlling the color, because we've changed it in there, and then I'm pressing OK, and then clicking on print. So we're going to get another print. So while we're waiting for that third one to print out, I thought I would show you maybe some different papers and how these prints might look on these different papers. I do actually have to, I've just remembered I have to wait until this has printed out, which is not far from now. So the first paper I'm going to show you is a inkjet quality paper that is an Epson paper. I'll just get the packet. So it's photo quality inkjet paper, and it is about excuse me, it's not wanting to, I was going to see if I could find the weight. Oh, there. And the weight is about 102 GSM, and it's A4. So this is it here. Now I'm going to pop it in the back, the rear feeder. You can put it in either feeder, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it back because it's easier than pulling out my drawer. And so this pops up, like I said before. So yes, it's A4, but it's not plain paper. So I'm going to change it to photo quality inkjet there. Alright, so now the printer knows when it gets the message to print from the back tray. Right, back at the desk with my laptop, and I'm going to set it up to print on the inkjet paper. So I've gone through preview again, going down to printer options, print settings, and in here we've got the advanced color options settings, and I'm going to take that magenta right back down again to -6 or -5, just to get rid of that pink hue, because it seemed to work last time. But this is different paper. it'll lay down a different amount of ink. And then we go back to basic, so auto select I'm changing to rear paper feeder. Well, I should be, because that's where we put the paper, yep. And then I'm going to select not plain paper but Epson inkjet quality inkjet. I'm keeping it on Epson Vivid color. And then you have quality, a quality print. So I think I keep it on quality. There's high quality, but that will be a lot of ink. I'm just going to go with quality because it will actually print out a beautiful print. Again, you can do either depending on what you want. Or I've put high quality, so maybe, I choose high quality, so there you go. And then I press print, and that will begin to print out. So we'll soon be able to see what that one looks like. Last print I'm going to do is on the cotton linen paper that I purchased from Amazon. Now this paper is a different size, so I'm going to go back into print, and I'm just showing you here how you can go into last used settings, and if you click on that and then go down into your printer options and click print settings, you'll see that everything is what you chose for your last print, basically. So if you go in to the advanced color settings, you'll see it's at -5. You'll see rear paper feeder and Epson quality. But we are going to use a different paper type and a different paper size. So I'm going to go in. I've chosen last use settings, but then I realize I want to change the paper size. So I'm here and I'm looking up here, and we've got A4, but the paper I bought is American size, so I'm going down to the sizes of the paper and I'm choosing US letter. So that's 8.5 by 11, which is their sort of standard paper, not A4. Print entire image, you can see how that changes. So I'm just going, if you fill the entire page, you lose some of the image. So I'm going print entire image. And I decide here to go back and choose borderless. So US letter borderless, print entire image. Then I change it back to just US letter. So I'm obviously deciding which one I want. I've chosen borderless, and right, I think I have. And then I'm going into advanced color settings. It's on -5, the same as before, because I chose use last settings. What we do need to change in here is I am going to put it in the rear paper feeder, but I'm choosing plain paper because this is a linen textured paper, but it is a plain paper. And nothing else needs to change except for I want to put it on best quality. I press OK and then I press print. But before I press print, I need to go over to my printer and check that everything's sorted. Well, I need to put the paper in for a start, so let's go do that. Alright, so I'm taking the inkjet quality paper out and I'm going to replace it with the linen paper. You can see that lovely texture on that paper. It's 90 GSM, so a little bit heavier than a photocopy paper. And I'm going to put it in the rear feeder. And because it's a different size, sorry about my camera work there, I'm trying to hold the camera and use my left hand. I need to open up the back because it's a bit wider and just change the guides. And then we come down to the screen. As you can see, it says A4 paper, so we're changing the size to US letter, or 8.5 by 11. Where is it? There we go, letter 8.5 by 11. And the paper type we're going to change to plain paper, so it matches up with basically what's on the computer. Gone back into a few of my favourite things. I've gone into the other folder and I found this one, which I really love. I'm going to press File, Print, and I think for this one I want to go A4 borderless, because I want to print this on the back, and if the borders don't match and then you have to tear the borders off, it's a bit tiresome. So yeah, sometimes if you're going to print something on the back, it's better to go
borderless for both really, I suppose, if you're making a page. But anyway, I didn't, so that's okay. So I've got A4 borderless. I want to go into printer options and go there. And again, I want to go into advanced, and I'm going to take that magenta down again because I'm actually really liking how that looks. And then I'm going to go back to basic. Oh, hang on, let's just check that that stayed that way. Yeah, okay. Oh, so if you press OK, that takes you out, so we don't want to press OK. We just want to go back to basic. Right, so it's going to be plain paper because I'm going to print it on the back of a plain page, I think. Yeah, I'm going to print it on the back of a plain paper. Oh, yep, plain paper. Colour, Epson Vivid, normal, but I'm going to go best quality. Okay. Now, I've just thought, actually, I'm going to print it on the back of the... I want to print it on the back of the the linen paper, so I'm going to change this to US letter and borderless. And we'll just see how we go with these margins here. Hopefully they'll line up. Okay, and so let's just have a look. I'm going to take this from the rear paper feeder. Plain paper. Okay. Right.
I'm back over at the printer. This one is the printout on the US letter size linen paper. I need to look at how it's come out so that in case the one on the back needs to be a certain way up, you want it to print out again the same way up. So I've flipped that over, and back at my laptop I've pressed print, and that's sending it to the printer and printing out on the back. So we'll have a double-sided print on the US letter size paper, and that's really good for journals. So let's see our results.
Okay, let's look at these prints. This first one was done through my computer print thing, and I don't know if you can see how pink that is on film. Unfortunately, it's really hard to show you what it looked like on the computer compared to this, but if we look at the next one, so this was just done on best quality. It's on plain photocopy paper. This is about 100 GSM. I mean, it's a beautiful copy. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it annoys me that the color is just like slightly pink hue. So let's bring the next one in. The next one was done through Photoshop's Element, and the color management was off, so Photoshop managed the color and I didn't do anything to it at all. And again, that was on best quality, and I don't know if you can see the difference there, how this one is slightly less pink than this one, ever so slightly less, but again it's quite minimal. And this one again is on the plain photocopy paper. That's about 100 GSM. You probably can't quite see the difference, but I can definitely see a difference between this one and this one. This is way pinker than this one. This one is way pinker, so that's just something that is an Epson problem. I know a lot of people have HPs and they don't have a problem with it. Okay, so the next one again on photocopy paper was done not through Photoshop, but the same as this one, but I went in, and I don't know if you remember, but I went into advanced color management and I turned the magenta down to -6. Now that is probably a lot closer to what it looked like on the computer. Can you see the difference between that one, and how much more, that's much more of a sepia sort of tone, and I like this one better. Nothing wrong with that, it's just not, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I feel like I want it to be the same as what I'm seeing on the computer. So don't be afraid to have a little play around. I don't know why I haven't done that before. It's insane. I've been playing, I've been having this problem for so long and just kind of tearing my hair out about it literally, and it's as simple as just tuning the magenta down on the printer. So Joe, if you're watching this, I know you will be laughing because I've almost been in tears over this. So anyway, hopefully we've found a little bit of an answer. So again, beautiful print just on photocopy paper. So we've got the printer through preview, or whatever if you've got not a Mac, because I am using a MacBook Pro. We've got this one through Photoshop, and then we've got this one adjusting the color and taking that magenta down slightly. The next one is through preview. Again, I've taken the magenta down, but this time to -5, and this is the inkjet photo quality inkjet paper. And again, we put that on best quality, and again, I think that's really, really lovely. There's just a slightly better quality to it. It's not huge, to be honest. It's not huge, and it depends also on the digitals. These are, I've not used Evelyn and Sage Avenue or Danielle's digitals before. So anyway, you do have to have a little bit of a play, but I love the quality of this paper. It only has the sort of the inkjet quality on one side, and the other side, if I print on the other side, you can see that's kind of a creamy color. I just print plain paper on that side. So that's that one. And then the next one was again not through Photoshop Elements, just through the computer. And we did a double-sided, and this is with the magenta turned down. That's turned down 0.5, that's turned down 0.6 again. But see how it's still different to this one? I don't know if you can see, but this one's a little bit darker, maybe a little bit pinker. I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4 different prints. And I'll zoom out a bit to see if you can see. So they're all on plain paper, and I know the white border affects it a little bit, and we need to come down this way, don't we? Yeah, there. So the first one we did on plain paper, the second one through Photoshop, this one with the magenta turned down to 0.6, and then this one again on the linen paper. So maybe this linen quality cotton paper soaks up a little bit more ink because it is a bit more vivid, can you see, than this. The other thing is it's got a beautiful sort of texture to it. Now I know there's quite a few American junk journal artists who use this paper. So that's that side, and then what I've done is I've printed this on the other side. Now this is probably a piece that's supposed to go that way, but I like it this way. And so if you fold your paper, you've got this beautiful double-sided, and this could be written on or done, more could be done to this by the end user. The only thing that's happened on here is when it's come through, we've got some head strike here, so some of the ink. But what I would be doing with this anyway, let's move these out of the way, is tearing this down. Now when you tear, you want your ruler on the bit you don't want. And I press pretty hard because I have had times when it hasn't worked well for me. And I'm just going to tear this white border off, and what I'm interested in seeing is what the border is on the other side. It's not too bad, but you have got this white area, but I ink a lot of my pages anyway. So whichever way you tear, one side of your paper is going to get like the white where you've torn away from it. So this has got a little bit of a white thing there. That actually might be some of the border, I think it is, where maybe the paper's gone on a slight angle and it's not exactly the same. But how beautiful is that? And it's got a beautiful texture to it. This is about a 90 GSM paper, so it's slightly heavier than a normal copy paper, which is about 80, and I always find 80 just a little bit too flimsy. So there we go. I don't know much, and as you can see, I'm still totally learning about this whole, the technical side of all of this. I find it, if things go all wrong, I get really stressed. But yeah, I've learned something today just showing you this. So how cool is that? And someone asked for this video, and I'm not sure, it was a long time ago, and they asked me to do something like this. I don't know if I've answered the questions, or I've even sort of answered the question that they had, or this has given them any answers. But if there's any of you out there who are just learning or just starting, you know, that was just really basic. And again, it's MacBook, it's, you know, Mac, so that's slightly different. But yeah, it does take some experimenting, and it does take ink, and it does take wasting paper, I'm afraid, to get things right. But you know, even if you get something that you don't love, you know, I can still cut this out and use this, or, you know, use this for collage if I don't really like the hue in it, or print on the back and use it. So, I mean, I'll probably use all these pages at some point. They'll get popped in my Evelyn and Sage Avenue box, and they will be used. So don't think it's totally wasted. I really hope it's been helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you're all well and getting some crafting done. Anyway, take care, keep well, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye.